Yo, Matt here from the Guild of Professional Sharpeners and also the American Edge, my own sharpening business. And, trigger warning, this video is not going to be me doing sharpening, but really there's just been a lot of really cool things going on in the guild, and I need to share that, right? So this video is going to be me just covering the wave tops on a few things that are happening inside the Guild of Professional Sharpeners, which, if you're not familiar, is a community of knife and tool sharpening business owners. Really, it's like an educational platform. So there's a bunch of stuff in there to take you from not really knowing anything about sharpening to learning to sharpen, and then turn it into monetize that skill. But in so doing, there's a tremendous amount of content that is helpful if you're an experienced sharpener. It's one of those things, like once you start figuring out, you learn that there's just a ton more to learn. So it's an awesome resource, and it's growing in a big way. So here are some things that I'm excited about. I'm just capturing, I'm recording this in April of 2023, and I'm trying to capture what has happened the Q1 of 2023, so January through March. The first thing is that this year I committed to doing weekly meetups. So every Thursday night I'm on a platform. It's usually Zoom, but I've been working through a few different options to try to find what the best one is. But the way those meetups go down is like over the course of the month, we hit four things. So the first meetup of the month is a general, like unscripted, everybody's invited, like let's just hang out and talk about business and sharpening. Like, depending on how many people show up, sometimes we go around the horn and like just hear from everybody. If there's too many people for that, then we raise hands, or like we just it's a place where everybody's welcome to ask questions, get feedback from everybody else, and then also just share stories, right? Like, we're all trying to build something, we're all trying to grow, and it feels good, like especially when the good stuff happens, to share that and have other people celebrate it with you. So that's the first meeting. The second meeting is for those of the people in the growth plan, which is the access to the courses, and the ones who are really like focused on the learning and their sharpening and building a business. So the second meetup of the month is what I call office hours. And that's where I'm online, available, live. Come join me and like ask me all the questions that you have, like for everything that you've been working on. There's like continuous access to me anyway, like as a member and like on the platform. But this way, it's like, relatively face to face, and like we get to talk things out a little bit more than sometimes text. It gets hard. The third meetup of the month is an interview, a guest interview. And the ones that we've hit so far was Ryan Swanson from District Cutlery in DC. He came on in January. His main thing is like thinning kitchen cutlery. So it's cool to do a deep dive on kitchen cutlery and high-end knives, and kind of, talk that game a little bit. There's a ton there, right? Second one was Phil Jackson. Phil is a member of the guild, and in his previous life, he was a marketing guy. And like just from getting to know him over, I think, a couple of years now, Phil is he's just a genius at marketing, and it's so much fun talking to him and like getting his ideas. And like, marketing is one of those things in the business side of it where like it's kind of the hard part. Like, even sharpening is kind of easy. The hard part is getting people to bring you items to give you money to work on them, right? So like, marketing's fun, and I love talking about it, and Phil's super fun. That was February. In March, we had Jared from Magnamatic, which is all about mower blades. And that dude is a whiz. Like, I learned a ton. He has a great 101 course or 101 like interview on YouTube. So I made a point to not like recap that, but rather like share that with the guild and be like, check this out before we connect with Jared, and like, let's take it to the next level. And Magnamatic's putting out a whole new line of equipment this year, which is exciting. So it was awesome to have him, and he knows a ton. And then so that was for March. April, we just yesterday had Dave from Colonial Saw come on, and the theme there was like how small shops go big. And Dave sells like Colonial Saw. Dave's the president of Colonial Saw. they sell industrial sharpening equipment. And it was just like, wow, like talk about a whole nother world to get into. Really awesome. And Dave is super cool and really like sometimes it's a little intimidating, like he's up there and like we're kind of down here like grinding kitchen knives, and he's like selling these 10, 100 multi-$100,000 grinding equipment, like it's definitely a different league. But he was really, really cool, very helpful. So those are awesome, right? Okay. And then the fourth meetup of the month is a live sharpening. So the way I've kind of been doing is whatever I have on the bench at the American Edge, I send out a note to, again, this one is for the interviews are for everybody. This live sharpening is for the people in the growth plan. So I just send out a note of what I have on my bench and then get on the camera. And I've done it a few ways. Like sometimes I like fire everything up and I physically do it. And then I found that like sometimes people taper off there. We like lose interest and it's kind of hard. So another way we're kind of working through that is to like maybe do a little bit, talk about different ways to approach it, answer questions. That seemed to go a little bit smoother. So we're continuing to massage and refine the way we're doing this, but I hope that, especially if you're coming from like for all the people who are like really trying to like get the sharpening skill set, my hope is that the live sharpening is just a huge and awesome resource. Okay, so there's a lot here, so I'm going kind of fast, but that's the whole like meeting up every week is great, and I think like it really reinforces the community aspect and helps us get to know each other, put a face to the name, put a voice to the name, right? So that's awesome. And there's a ton of great content coming out of that. Okay, so the next thing is a course launch. I launched a course called How to Dominate Local SEO, Search Engine Optimization. And this is like how we get business is being local search engine optimization. When somebody in our geographic area searches knife sharpening near me, we need to pop up and be on top of that and be the one that they call. So I built a course on how we do that. And it's really to supplement. So now I have, if you're not familiar, that's the third course. So these are pre-recorded, self-paced digital classes with a presentation and a video on top of it, and then resources to support it. So this was the third course that I launched, and it is really a supporting course to the Foundations for Success course, and in that is like the layout of like the first year on how to build your business, like all the steps. In that is a marketing session, and the How to Dominate Local SEO is really supplemental material to that marketing session. So there's just to recap a few things here. There's the Foundations for Success course. There's the Fundamentals of Knife and Tool Sharpening course, which is a supplemental to the session on how to become the expert. And then there's the How to Dominate Local SEO, which is supplemental to the marketing session in the Foundations course. So there's there's a lot there. And if you're kind of noodling on this idea of, geez, like, should I start a sharpening business? Like this, like, we'll show you how, and then there's a group of people to back you up and be with you along the whole ride. So it is awesome. I'm stoked about it. Okay, and then moving on, the next thing is that the guild is growing in numbers. I think we're in the 60s now, pushing 70 members, and I'm really excited that like we've grown across borders before. Like we've been in Canada, we've gone over to Europe a little bit, but we do have a member in Africa now that it's like really exciting that like this is the world we live in, and it definitely is. And it's also a female, which is really cool too. So for a long time, Sabrina has been kind of the sole female like representing in the guild, and she's fantastic and has been like, she's awesome. But as of late, there's been a few more females to join that, and it's great. Like I try to say that like sharpening doesn't matter who you are, like race, gender, age, location. It doesn't matter. Like it's a good fit for everybody who's interested in it. So I'm just happy to see that, the word is getting out, and that if you are of another like area or gender or something like that, please know like this is a platform that supports everybody. So there's that. And and it's awesome. Okay, the next thing is that I host the guild on a platform called Mighty Networks. So they run the software, right? So I have a subscription of Mighty Networks, and they do that. They're working really hard to stay on as technology advances. And in going into this year, they released a pretty major move, which they called Spaces, which modified the kind of like really the layout of the the user interface for the Mighty Networks platform, which means for the guild. And like with any change, people get kind of nervous and stuff. And I embrace change. I think it's great. And they did a move. I think it's a good move. It's a cleaner interface and all that. So not without a few hiccups on the way, but it seems pretty smooth right now. And so I think that the move to Spaces was a good move, and it benefited the hosts because it gives me more functionality to build out different spaces, groups, courses inside this platform. And to that, one of the new spaces that we launched so far this year was Classifieds. So that's a place, it's a play space where any member of the guild can go and post equipment for sale and make it available to other members in the guild. And that there's been everything from a couple belts maybe, and then there's a Tormek up there at an Edge Pro. It's cool. It's new. It's still kind of new, but the way I think in terms of a long time. And as people start their business and grow their business, we inevitably kind of grow out of tools. And this is a great way for us to find a new home for those tools, where they can help somebody else kind of get those initial steps and get rolling. To that end, what might be even better than that is a lending library, and I've built that as well too. And that's where for me, if I grow out of a tool or if I find something near me cheap on Craigslist or Marketplace, I might buy that and just make it available. And I'm still kind of working through how the best fits for that. But I had this old Twice as Sharp. It was a model A1. It's the same thing. It's just gray and built in the 90s, but it's a champ. I've been using it, but I have a red Twice as Sharp. So I was like, why don't I just make this other one available? So I put it out there. I sent it to John in Arizona. So he's got it. The idea there is he covers shipping to get it to him. He's got it for a few months. My vision there is that he uses a Twice as Sharp. He takes on scissor sharpening in his business. So he's now able to market it, gain the skill set. And then with that tool that he's borrowing from the guild, he can then generate enough money to buy his own Twice as Sharp and to carry on with sharpening scissors, and then send it to another member in the guild. And that tool will work its way around, helping everybody grow their business. So that's the idea behind a lending library. Still, it's really new, but it is in action, and I'm continuing to work on it. So that's a direction that we're going. And then the last thing I have here is just a highlight that I did coming into this year. I changed the membership model. So there's a networking plan at $150 a year. There's the growth plan, which is $500 a year. And then there's a lifetime plan, which is $1,500, and that covers you for life. I think it was a good move for me. Again, change is hard. We never know what's going to happen, but the way I had the pricing and the membership set up, it wasn't really serving everybody. And one of the things, really the highlight here, I think, is that my encouragement to everybody is build a business that serves you and that you enjoy. And there were some features of the way I had the membership plans before, where I was finding this isn't fun. I wasn't attracting the right people, and or just it just wasn't fun, right? So if it's not I need to practice what I preach. If these are the things that making me feel down, I don't need that. Let's change it. So I did, and I'm happy with the changes that we made. Yeah, thank you. There's a lot there, right? But that's just Q1, right? I do kind of want to tease a few things for Q2, right? There's a lot going on right now, and some things there are a couple discounts like in the works. One is we're real close to sealing the deal on, and one is like I've got word that yeah, we'll hook it up, but like I just need to do something first. So if you don't know, like I have a space inside the guild with a discount codes to vendors. My vision there is that by becoming a member of the guild, you access these discounts and they offset the membership fee to be there. It's a chicken and egg thing where suppliers want to you'd be able to show volume for them to offer you a discount, but we kind of need the discounts help attract the volume. So anyway, we're working on it, and it takes time and it takes relationships. And anyway, there's a couple of things going there. And so stay tuned, right? Subscribe and also get on my email list. I'll leave a link in the description or in the bio because I'll make sure all this stuff comes out by email. I send out a weekly email too. So, and then, all right, the next thing I want to tease is that if you're a Tormek user, we have something that's really awesome. It's awesome. I will have to do a video when we launch this next thing that we're putting together. We meaning it's not just me, right? Like I got some help on this one, and so I'm stoked about that. And that's it's going to be largely focused on Tormek users, but not just like straight up Tormek. Like what's all the stuff we can do with the Tormek, right? And so that's going to be awesome. Again, if you're using a Tormek or if you're remotely fascinated by a Tormek anywhere on that spectrum, this is gonna be very valuable. Okay, and the last thing, just like from it's hard for me to do everything, right? Like I'm sure you can sympathize with that. So like I have a previous member of the guild actually reached out to me, and he's pivoting. He's going in a slightly different direction, and he wants to help me out as a way to grow what he's trying to grow. So I might be getting a little help on this side of things, which is like the content generation and the marketing side of stuff to get the word out about the guild, hoping that that's the way I've done it is I've kind of just shifted my focus to the people who have already put their faith in me, which is inside the guild. So that's why I haven't been putting a lot of content out publicly, because all the time that I spend inside the guild. So so that's exciting, and that's really great. Like like the whole thing about making relationships and building bonds and finding people and like not doing everything alone is great. So that's what we're building. Okay, that's it. Okay, I hope. Hey, check this out. If you have any questions, if you want me to go deeper on any of that, if you want to reach out, or like if you just have any questions at all, leave them in the comments below, and I'll try to field them there. Or you get on my email list, and if you reply to any email that I send, it'll come right to me. So that's another way to get a hold of me, and we can talk, we can chat, and discuss anything. So that's it. And until next time, see ya.